Week 4 in the NFL is here, and Drew, today we are talking about each and every game in 60 seconds each. Can we finish in time?
I can't wait to do this again. I had so much fun on week 3. Let's get into it, man.
Absolutely. Week 4 is full of a bunch of great matchups, Drew, and we're going to start with an NFC matchup one. You made me go first last week. You put me under the gun. This week it's your turn.
That's okay.
We're going to get right into it just as soon as we explain the rules for everybody who might be new. We have a couple flags here, one of which being the challenge flag, which can interrupt the 60 seconds. So if we ever feel like we have something to say, we need to get something off our chest, or the other guy just says something that we just can't let slide, we have 2 challenge flags each, just like the real NFL, to get our say in.
The other flag is a penalty flag. Now, this does not interrupt the 60 seconds, but what it does do is if it's constantly being negative, like your mom always says, say something nice, this at the end, you'll have to say something nice. There is no limit to these, so make sure you're being nice.
But it doesn't stop the 60 seconds.
No, it does not.
Okay, let's get right into it with a great NFC matchup as the Seattle Seahawks go on the road to face the Arizona Cardinals. Drew, your time starts right now.
Man, what a matchup this is going to be. When it started the season, I didn't think the Seahawks were going to be a good team, and I thought the Cardinals were going to be an okay team. It seems to be reversed, actually. I think Seahawks are getting on the right track. Their offense seems to be competitive. Their defense seems to be the real deal. As far as the Arizona Cardinals go, they should have beat the 49ers, especially with Mac Jones being the starter for the 49ers. This should have been a wipe, but it's not. The 49ers seem to be a good team still for some reason, even with the start of their backup quarterback. Kyler Murray needs to play better. Is this a team that he can get back with? I don't know if he can because Seattle's defense seems to be doing really well. With Seattle's offense popping off, I think the Cardinals are in trouble, man. Even in Arizona, I see the Seahawks winning this game. It's a very important matchup because I think this has playoff mentality here. They should be playing each other, and this could be a wild card spot because I don't see them winning the division, but definitely wild card.
You know, I wish I could defend Kyler Murray since I've been defending him, I feel like, for years now on this show. But
just can't.
I only have 2 challenge flags, man. I can't burn one right now because I don't disagree with anything you said. Never mind. I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah, you're not.
Let's move on.
Got to move on. It's your turn, man.
That's right. I'm talking Vikings and Steelers. And Drew, this matchup is an interesting one.
Your time starts now.
I really like the way the Vikings defense has played. I think it's underrated how well they've done as they've basically shut out 3 opponents. Nobody's really said that much about them. All the focus has been on J.J. McCarthy and how he's underachieved, but at this point, we're starting to see a trend. I mean, it was 48-3 going into the fourth quarter against a backup quarterback, but still, a lot of that was on the Vikings defense's back last week. Can they do it again against a Steelers team that has underachieved on offense? Yeah, I think so. I think this is going to be another case of the Vikings stepping up and stifling what has been an offense that should be better, and maybe I expected to be better with Aaron Rodgers and all these new weapons. I want to see the Steelers step up. Their defense needs to play better. Their offense needs to play better. They've kind of floundered. Even though they're 2-1, they haven't really done a whole lot. They haven't really done a whole lot to establish themselves as a team that's as good as their record suggests this early.
Still got 12 seconds. Anything
I'm
else?
Good. No, I think so.
Man.
Carson Wentz, I guess. I got 7 seconds. Is Carson Wentz better than McCarthy? Right now, yes. I squandered my time there. I kind of blew that, huh?
It's all right. It's all right. I almost challenged. But I left it alone. Got to hold on to my challenges. There's got to be something else out there.
I threw mine out early last week, and I was just sitting there the rest of the show like, that's really interesting, Drew. I really wish I could say something about this.
It's part of the game. I'm a little parched.
You got to get ready for this next one because we do have another. Is it wrong to say this matchup is interesting more than it is? Because, never mind, I'm not allowed to say that. I want to go in on the Giants, but I don't want to steal your thunder. So, you have the Chargers going on the road to face the New York Giants, Drew. Your time starts right now.
So I guess the elephant in the room is the fact that Jackson Dart is now the starter. Russell Wilson has been benched for the rookie Jackson Dart. Everyone's going to be talking about it. It's going to be across every news network, streaming site. All these people are going to go nuts about it. As crazy that is of that happening, which it probably should have happened week 1, in my opinion. Russell Wilson's not what he used to be. I'm not going to talk about that. I think this is all about the Chargers. I think you have to talk about a team that's 3-0, that has won 2 division rival games, and seems to be like on track. Let me finish my thought. On track to being a very super competitive contender for a Super Bowl. Go ahead, man. What are you challenging me on?
I just had to talk more about this. It wasn't necessarily anything you said, Drew, but I have to weigh in here because, you know, when you're talking about Russell Wilson, we're like, he's not the guy he used to be. Aren't we 1 week removed away from him throwing 451 yards through the air?
Dude,
now, yes, he finished with a bad interception, but
we've seen NFL quarterbacks like Mike White throw for 400-plus yards, and where's he in the NFL right now? I mean, just because you can throw, that doesn't mean that you should be starting in the NFL. It just means that you were, at one point, for Russell Wilson's sake, a very good person to be an NFL quarterback.
This feels
Is it a good way to say it? Is it a good way? It was a bad way to say it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I will say this kind of reeks of an organization desperate to move on to the next guy. Again, I don't think the problem with this team is Russell Wilson necessarily. I mean, yeah, they didn't put up a lot of points against the Chiefs, but the Chiefs' defense has been pretty good for the past couple of years. They're a little bit lower this season than they've been in the standings and in the rankings in terms defensively, but they're not pushovers. And I think to take a guy like Russell Wilson and to throw him away this early, 3 weeks into the season, if you were going to do this, why would you not just go with Jackson Dart to start the season?
Exactly what I just said.
I agree. I'm agreeing
I know
with
you're
that
just
point.
wanting more.
But I'm just saying, like, this is, I think, a bad move. Like, if this is what you were going to do, start him week 1, or let Russell Wilson go for a little while and then put him in towards the back half of the season. Because this Giants team, even though it's taking strides towards being good, is not where it needs to be to compete right now. Throwing a rookie into the fire week 4, I don't think is the answer. Did they just not want him to play Kansas City and get his morale crushed? I don't think that's it either. I think this is just an organization that's kind of floundering and not really sure what they should be doing, just trajectory-wise. They don't really feel like they have a plan. Again, Russell Wilson threw for 451 yards against a division opponent in the Dallas Cowboys. It's part of the reason their defense is as bad as they are, because Russell Wilson tore him up. You can't let one bad week be the decision-maker for putting the rookie in.
It's not one bad week, dude. They're 0-3, and if they're going to do anything this year, they got to change now.
But you're not going to salvage the season.
No.
This isn't going to turn things around by bringing Jackson Dart in.
Hey, you never know. This could be the guy.
It could be.
Anyways, more about
the guy next year too. When you don't put him out in here with this bad team.
I think we should finish talking about the Chargers, because regardless of what the Giants are doing, it doesn't make a difference. It's the Chargers that are 3-0. It's the Chargers that, if they beat this team, which my next thought was going to be, you can't beat this team by 7 points. You got to beat this team by 14 points. You got to show that you are a legitimate contender for the Super Bowl. And when you face a team like the Giants, who just benched their starting quarterback, who's going to start a rookie, this has to be one of those games where you blow this team out. Defense on the Giants are kind of iffy, especially the front line's really good, but after that, they're questionable. I know you lost Najee Harris for the season. You still got to beat this team by 14 points or more.
Does it lessen your opinion of that because you're having a midweek change, where maybe you went into this starting to prep for Russell Wilson, you're starting to project how are we going to combat that, and then now you've got a guy that's a virtual unknown in Jackson Dart coming in. You've seen a little bit of preseason work with him where he looked good, but you haven't seen him in the pros. Are you willing to be a little more lenient on the Chargers if they come out and struggle against them a little bit, just because they don't have any tape and they don't know what to expect? Because we've seen that rookie bump once in a while where a guy will come in, look good,
it's going to happen,
kind of get figured out.
It's probably going to happen. You're going to see a bump in their offense is going to do well. But no, this is professional football. This is the NFL. They do tape on every single quarterback in that lineup. It's just a matter of percentage. They'll do reps if it was Russell Wilson, and then they do 20% if it was Jackson Dart, and 10% or 5% if it was their third string quarterback, Jameis Winston. So they should be practicing for this. And the other thing is, in that world, these teams already hear the talk. They probably knew Jackson Dart was probably going to be starting. Probably Monday morning.
I would certainly hope that the defensive coordinator knows who he is, right? You've watched some of the preseason tape, I'm sure. I hope. You would expect they would.
But in the NFL, and I know you're familiar with it, they practice with all quarterbacks starting in a sense when they're okay.
You do have a little bit of a game plan for what happens if the backup's in. What happens if he gets hurt.
Because you don't want to go in blind.
But then again, there's just very little tape on him. He's a rookie.
Look at the preseason games. Let's go on to the next matchup, man.
Let's predict it real quick, just because I threw the challenge flag here, Drew. How do you think the Giants end up doing in this game with a rookie quarterback against what might be one of the better teams in football right now, considering the Chargers are 3-0?
Hard to tell. I mean, he's got positive things happening to him. Khalil Mack has obviously missed last week. Will miss this week with a dislocated elbow. You still have Derwin James back there. This is still a really good defense who's played very well. As much as I see a bump happening, I'm not saying he's throwing for 400 yards. If he can get 250 and maybe 2 touchdowns and an interception and lose the game, great. That's awesome.
And like we talk about with rookie quarterbacks a lot, we don't necessarily care how the team does. We care about how they do. If we see Jackson Dart come out and put up, like you said, 250 yards, and he's 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, you're feeling pretty good about the future, even if the team isn't ready to win right now.
Absolutely.
All right, let's
go
move on.
Yeah, let's go to the next matchup, man.
Absolutely. On the docket, it's my turn.
It is.
I guess I have to do a little bit of talking here. As my Titans go on the road for more punishment to face.
I just
the
don't know.
Houston Texans.
Hold on. You have to do a little bit of talking. Was this a different podcast? No, we're
Okay,
good.
no, that's fine. You can challenge that if you want. Yeah, 100%. Let's talk Titans-Texans right now.
All right, your time starts now.
Oh, I almost said something that wasn't very nice. But the Titans go on the road for more punishment as a team that hasn't lost a game by fewer than 8 points this season. This is the first time you're facing a team that was a playoff team last year, but has struggled coming out of the gate. It's got to improve. You can't have another week where you are just constantly out of the game. Maybe you put a good half up there, but you get into the back half of the game and you're just totally totally annihilated. Houston struggled out of the gate, but I don't think that this is a game that they're going to struggle with. The Texans secondary can't really do much when you've got to hold out for 8 seconds every time because there is no way to rush the passer in Tennessee. They have no options to do it. Jeffrey Simmons is about the only pass rushing option, and he's a defensive tackle. And any athletic quarterback takes 2 steps to the right and then throws the ball anyway. For Houston, I think this is your get-right game. Yeah, you just lost a tough one to Jacksonville, and you've had some struggles with the offensive line. This is one of those ones where you're like, okay, if we win this one, can we drag ourselves back into this thing?
I got to challenge this because it's not that I don't disagree with your saying. I think what you're missing here is how important this game is for the Titans in both ways.
Let's hear it.
If you win, if the Titans win this game, I think 2 things. It hurts the fact that they could get the number 1 pick next year in the draft.
Okay.
I think that hurts them a little bit.
I definitely
because
agree
this is a
with
game that you look
I've
on the
seen
schedule.
Saints, I agree.
Yeah, you look at a game on the schedule and you go, "This is a game they should lose," and you're not winning anything this year. How important is that? Second thing is they win. Does it keep Brian Callahan still on the head coach position of this team versus they lose? I think it's time to start looking to the future of this team and the head coach.
Yeah, and there have been calls for Brian Callahan to be fired already going into week 3, and I would say as an organization, you need to be made of sterner stuff than that. If you're going to fire him through 3 or 4 weeks, you should have just done it in the offseason. Like, you can't – things were bad last week when you're talking about getting a delay of game after 2 consecutive timeouts, which rarely happens. Usually,
so bad.
It's so rare that one team calls a timeout and then immediately the other team has to take one too. And then you take a delay of game on top of it as well. Does not look good.
Does not look good.
In terms of your time management. He's giving up the play calling responsibilities to one of his I think the quarterback coach is going to be doing it for the Titans at this point. But, yeah, things are bad. The only bright spot you can say is it looks like the Titans have had a good draft class when you talk about these rookie receivers out of the 4th round and Gunnar Helmet tight end as well. And Cam Ward has gotten better every week, which is like that is the litmus when you have a young quarterback. I just said about the Giants. This is what the Titans should be concerned about. I don't care if we lose. They should be saying, I don't care if we lose 40-0. If Cam Ward looks a lot better week to week, then you still call it that win.
I don't like the 0 on
40's
there.
rough, but
I don't like the 0.
If they go way down and Tony Pollard fumbles 12 times, you'd be like, well, Ward looked good.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll give you that one. Anything more you want to say about the Texans before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, let's see it out of C.J. Stroud. I want to see, we talked highly about him. We're still living off that rookie season where he came in and took the league by storm as a rookie and surprised everybody, me included. You've seen a downturn through year 2, and now year 3 has not looked very good as well. You're in, I don't want to say you're in RG3 territory, but we're getting to that point where it's like,
wow,
things are bad in Houston, but you have...
But RG3 was injuries. It wasn't playing.
Right. And that's almost worse, right? Where it's like you're there and things keep declining. This is the game where you reassert that, like, things are bad, but we're okay. Like, let's not panic. I'm still a good quarterback. We got to fix the roster, but I'm still fine.
Right.
This is that game you should tear the Titans up, and I think you will.
How much of is this like missing like a good running back like Joe Mixon? I like Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb doesn't seem to be 100% healthy.
I think the sun is starting to set on Nick Chubb's career, unfortunately. I think that's a big part of it. I think the offensive line, trading Laramie Tunsil away at this point to Washington has severely hurt a line that already wasn't that great to begin with, and then you trade the best piece away for not enough, in my opinion. It's a weird thing to do, considering you have a young quarterback that's still trying to really establish himself in the league. You had one good year. Trading his left tackle away.
2, roughly.
Year 2 was not that great for him. I mean,
still playoffs.
Yeah, but like because somebody has to
by
make
default.
it out of the South. Yeah, exactly.
By default.
Yeah,
wow. Don't tell any of the money on that team that the only reason you guys were in the playoff is because default. Someone had to win that division.
Okay, but if you said if this was a different division and not one of the South divisions, would the Texans have made the playoffs?
You mean the NFC South?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it, either of the South divisions, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Where if they didn't play in one of these South divisions, would the Texans have made the playoffs?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, they had 10 wins,
You kind of
right?
do. No,
10 wins?
Yeah, but like they play in the AFC South. There's 5 of them right there.
All right, we got to move on.
We do. I don't want to make it all about my team. This is a get right game for Houston. You can get back in the race if you win this one. I think whoever loses here is out of it. I think, Drew, you're right, where you almost kind of don't want to win this one as the Titans, but you never want to have that mentality.
No.
You want to have the mentality
No.
of we try to win every week, and for Callahan's sake especially, try to win this one. I think Houston's going to, though, and I think they're going to do it at a canter. Saunter, I actually believe it's spelled canter. It's pronounced saunter. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're fine. We never mess up names here.
Yeah,
Not once.
That's right.
All right, man. Give me my next matchup, dude. I'm excited to talk about it.
The Commanders are going on the road to face the Atlanta Falcons. Drew, your time starts right now.
We can talk about the woes of Penix here, and you can get in that discussion anytime you want, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what they're trying to fix. And how they're going to fix it is they're going to fire a wide receiver coach. Guess what? That doesn't fix it. That does not fix the problems. He got benched on last week's game for Cousins coming in. You didn't really see much, but he didn't have a lot of time to play. Being shut out 30-0 against the Carolina Panthers is not a good sign for the Atlanta Falcons. It's not at all. And you got a team like the Commanders. We assume Jalen Daniels might be back. He's only concussion that's Justin Fields. I'm thinking about the same guy here, but he is questionable. It's a possibility that he might be there, but if not, Marcus Mariota seems to be okay. He seems to be okay in this offense. I know it's been a while since we saw him play, but he's been in this playoff or in this playbook for a while now, 2 years, if I'm correct. I will still finish my time because that's how the rules count. I still see the Commanders winning this game. I think the Falcons got to figure out what's going on, and firing a wide receiver head coach is not it, and the Commanders are a better team.
Do I need to read the penalty out for you? Do you know what you did?
No.
I need you to say something nice about the Atlanta Falcons. Drew. That was a lot of negative.
It
man.
was a lot of
negative. Maybe a lot of it's fair, but say something nice about the Falcons.
You can't fix your woes on offense by attacking a position coach in your team. If it's changing who's doing the play calls, like with what the Titans are doing, I wouldn't have anything against that. Okay, it's a different mindset in how you're going to do this offense. To say something nice, I mean, I think Cousins should start. I know Penix is like your future, if you want to call him that, but you play the best quarterback, and the best quarterback is Cousins. You put Cousins in this week or in these last 3 weeks, you might be looking at 1-2, 2-1. You don't know how this season would have been. So I think you have a quarterback in your organization that you could win games with, but you're so focused on the future that you're putting this quarterback out there, in my opinion, is not ready. I know week 1 was okay, but the last 2 weeks have been really rough.
I am going to break the rules here a little bit because I shouldn't weigh in this, but I want to say this one thing about Cousins that you brought up. I think it's a great point. If you play him for 3 or 4 weeks and he looks okay, you're going to trade him and go get a big pick.
You could have done that.
Offseason.
You could do that. Absolutely.
Can you imagine trading him to the Bengals right now, where he can float with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins until you get Joe Burrow back? I mean, play him for a week or two, show everybody he's still got it, and then go trade him to the Bengals.
Yeah. It's a possibility.
Let's move on if you're ready.
Yeah.
I have a very interesting matchup. Lopsided on paper, but maybe there's more to this, Drew, when we talk about the Saints going on the road to face the Bills. You got to tell me when my time starts.
Okay, I didn't know
that.
You stopped.
I know,
you stopped abruptly. It was like, were you to keep
how
going?
long have we been doing this?
Not long enough. All
Apparently.
right, man. You ready? Let's take a swig there. Mm-hmm. And your time starts now.
I know on paper everybody's saying, why would I watch this game? But I will say the Buffalo Bills, even though this line is at 16.5 and rising, Drew, it literally rose by a point in the time it took me to drive over to your house here. Even though everyone's saying that this is lopsided, I would like the Saints and the points just because they're an NFL team. And when you get into those weird lines of 16.5, we're talking about more than 2 scores, sooner or later, somebody's got to take their foot off the gas, and the Saints are going to creep their way back into it. Buffalo should win this game, but they just struggled against Miami, who, up until last week, everyone was saying this could be the team with the first pick of the draft. So if they continue to struggle against a team and they overlook a team like the Saints, I can see this one staying close. Now, it's hard to find something nice to say about the Saints through these first couple weeks. The best thing I can say is that their offense at times looked okay. They battled with the 49ers, even though they lost that game. Maybe this is another one where they keep it close and certainly get underneath that 16.5 line that the game is at right now. As far as the Bills go, this is another game. All right. That pretty much sums up my Bills talk. I stayed on the Saints a lot longer than I meant to.
It's okay. I think everyone knows. Oh, nope, I'm done. Can't talk no more.
Yeah, sorry, Bills fans. I don't think they need me this week. That's all I'm saying. I don't think the Bills fans need reassurance of this week. I know. I'm done. I'm cheating.
You're cheating. That is
I am
100% cheating.
You'll have to take one of my draft picks away in the offseason.
I will. Don't worry.
That's fair.
You're on team well, actually. Yeah, man, this next matchup's awesome. I'm excited to talk about it.
This is like one of the few good ones you get, and that's just the way it unfortunately shook out.
Yeah, it really is. I get the Philadelphia Eagles to go on the road against Tampa Bay Bucks.
Ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, your time starts right now.
Both 3-0 teams. These both have playoff appearances last year. One's a Super Bowl champion of last year. These are two great teams, but what I've seen from both of these teams is not great play through all four quarters, outside of maybe a game for the Eagles. This is a game where you're going to go, can one of these teams play perfect through all four quarters and they're the team that wins? In my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to see struggles from both these teams, and you're going to want from this is obviously this has playoff contention where these teams can face each other again. They did play last year in the playoffs in snow in Philly, and it was one of those really good playoff games that you would want to watch again if you're a huge NFL fan. What I saw from Baker Mayfield was he can take any kind of scenario and turn it around, and he seems to be doing that almost every year better and better. He had 2 fourth-quarter drives this year already. He might need another one, but the difference is the tush-push can't stand that play. That is how almost every Eagles win has happened, tush-push.
Now who's cheating? That was 61 seconds, Drew.
I didn't get enough about the Eagles. But that's all right. That's all right. That's how this works. And everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, I can't believe you didn't say this.
I agree. 60 seconds is hard.
It is.
There's so much to talk about.
Man, these rules make it really hard. Like, we get stuck on something and we want to talk about it a little bit more, and that 60 seconds comes to an end. It's like, oh, I got so much more to say.
I know, dude. It's so hard to get everything out on a game in just 60 seconds. So forgive us if we miss a little bit of the details. But, hey, that's all we have for time.
That's it.
We got to make it count, right?
It's part of it.
Just like a 2-minute drill. You can't say, well, it's hard to play offense.
Give me one more minute out there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I need.
Exactly. Got to respect the play clock.
We do.
All right. Next game on the docket, Drew, as we're talking about this, the Browns going on the road to face the Detroit Lions. This one's me.
Such a good game. Your time starts now.
What an interesting matchup in terms of the Cleveland Browns being the best defense in football right now. It doesn't feel like it should be true, but it is. Yardage-wise, at least, they have done an amazing job of staying in these matchups, even though their quarterback has been hurt and they really don't have a true option. I mean, it was supposed to be Deshaun Watson at one point, then it was supposed to be Kenny Pickett, now we're on to Joe Flacco, and at this point, Drew, we should lace up our cleats because we might get that call. You never know. I mean, week 6, we're not putting up points. Just saying, going up on the road to face a team like Detroit that's been good in almost everything. I know they had a bit of a disappointing week 1 against the Packers, but the Packers are pretty good too. And I think the Packers were more up for that game than Detroit was. For this one, they got to avoid the stumbling block like Green Bay just lost to Cleveland a week ago. They can't let the Browns hang around in one of these games where it's 10-3 the entire time, and then they get upset in the fourth quarter because something bounces the wrong way. They need to get out early and often. I think they will, especially when you look at how they played the Ravens and Derrick Henry. I think the Lions got this.
Okay.
Running over today.
Yeah.
We got a lot to say.
Well, that was a good matchup. I know that I can't talk about it.
Yep.
Gah!
You got one more challenge.
No, I'm not wasting it on that game.
Wasting is not the word. Using. You're not using it on that game. I think we could talk about this one for like an hour in Cleveland,
Yes.
but we don't have an hour.
Nope, we don't.
But what we do have is another great matchup as the Panthers take on the New England Patriots. Drew, don't make me break out the yellow flag. Be nice here, okay? Your time starts right now.
You definitely like what you saw out of Carolina last week with the 30-0 win over the Atlanta Falcons. That's something that you should definitely be excited about. But the play of Bryce Young is still not exciting to think. I think he maybe 130 yards with 0 touchdowns. Yeah, he did run one in, but you want to see more out of this. And I think you found the Atlanta Falcons just fumbling and not being prepared for this game more than the fact that Panthers won. I know it was a shutout, whatever. But now you're facing the Patriots. Mike Vrabel makes all of his teams play tight games, defensive games. You're going to find a team that does not give up points easily, that is going to be tough to play against. And I think Drake May's playing better ball than Penix, if Penix gets to start. I mean Bryce Young. Bryce Young's going to get to start. Wow, my brain went dumb there. And I'm going to give it this to Patriots because I still just don't believe in Bryce Young as a quarterback in the NFL. He's just too small, and the team just isn't built enough around him. Maybe in the future, 5 years from now, if they still have him as a starter, maybe that will be the time. But right now, it's Drake May's turn. That nailed it right on 60 seconds, and I fumbled a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, what a recovery, though. You might have fumbled, but you scooped it again.
Yeah. There's that punch out. And I was like, no, don't punch it out. I picked it up.
There you go. Hey, sometimes you got to recover your own fumble.
Also at the 60 seconds, it kind of gets you nervous. You're like, oh, my God, I got to say everything.
I got to say this. I got to say that. I got to say this. I got to say that. It's not easy.
And I had the Falcons on my brain because the Carolina Panthers shut them out. But
Just blew them out of the water, too. I can't say anymore. I'm contractually obligated to abide by these rules. This is hard. This is really hard. I think even the hardest part is when it's not your game and you're like, I have one challenge flag left and I want to weigh in on this. I got like 6 things I can say about this, but I'm not allowed to say any of them.
you're not allowed.
But what I am allowed to do is talk about the Jaguars and 49ers, Drew.
Yeah, and your time starts now.
Jacksonville has surprised people, I think, even though they're kind of a dark horse right now. I don't think anybody's picking them to win the Super Bowl or go far in the playoffs. I mean, they're sitting at 2-1, and when you look at their stats, Jacksonville is like 9th in everything, I think. Offense, defense, they're playing okay. Now, maybe you could argue they should have done better against Houston. Maybe you could argue they should have not blown that game against Jake Browning and the Bengals when they did. But the 49ers, too, have been struggling. They're 3-0. They're winning these games by, like, the skin of their teeth, because I'm not allowed to say anything else. Mac Jones, again, going up against Trevor Lawrence. I need to see Trevor Lawrence beat a backup quarterback if he's going to live up to that big NFL contract he signed. They don't have Nick Bosa for the 49ers, too, so that's better news for Lawrence here. Best pass rusher on the field isn't going to be chasing him this week. I still think the 49ers are going to squeak one of these things out. The 3.5-point line, I don't think they're going to get there, but this could be like a 1-point win. Ugly, but the 49ers moved 4-0, and Jacksonville drops back down to 2-2.
Done. I thought about challenging it, not because I think you say anything wrong, because I felt like we should talk about it more.
That's what I'm saying. There's like,
but I
drives me crazy.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
That's all right, though. You get another good matchup here. I said you only have one, but this is a really good one.
This is a very good
When
matchup.
the Colts go on the road to face the, not the St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams. I know, it's been like 5 years. I'm gonna be in a nursing home, and I'm gonna be like, I can't wait to watch the St. Louis Rams play this week. Them and the Raiders.
The Baltimore Colts are coming to the St. Louis Rams.
It's true. Oakland Raiders, baby. Yeah, I can't get used to it, dude. No moving. No more moving, okay? Lock them in place.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if your city's dying.
Exactly.
You just keep that NFL team.
I don't care what stadium you have to play in. Don't let the Athletics move. I'm just kidding. They need to get out.
Dude, anyways.
Let's not get sidetracked here. Let's stick with what is a very good game as the seemingly undefeatable Colts go on the road to face the almost undefeatable Rams outside of...
Do you guys stop talking about it?
I do. All right, it's your turn to talk, and it starts right now.
You're almost trying to steal my thunder before even the clock starts. Both these teams should be 3-0. And obviously the Colts are 3-0. The Rams are 2-1. They had the Eagles by the throat, and they just got manhandled at the end of the game there, where the Eagles just came out of nowhere and beat them. I think the Rams are still a really good team, but this game right here is all about the Colts. This is about how you can defeat a team that's really good. It's a playoff team from last year. They should be 3-0, so you're facing a very good team. Can the Colts keep up what they're doing? Because this is what you want to see, right? If they beat a team like the Rams, maybe even by 3 points, it doesn't matter. You're 4-0, you're now going, okay, I'm a contender, not only in the playoffs, but I'm a contender in winning a Super Bowl. Daniel Jones has been able to prove himself and rejuvenate his career in Indianapolis. And the next best part about it is you see that also with Jonathan Taylor. Last year he played, but he was beat up. Now he's back. He had 160-some yards last week. He had over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns this week against the Titans. Dude, it's awesome. The Colts are back. That's it.
I agree. This is one of the few games I didn't really have to break out the challenge flag. Even though I could say more about this, I think you did a great job talking about it, man. Like I agree pretty much across the board there.
Good.
Rare for us.
I had so much more to say.
We just locked it in. I know.
I had so much more to say.
I get a great matchup though.
Yeah.
You
do.
I don't know how I wind up talking about both our teams every week. Like we might have to shake this up a little bit next week.
Yeah.
But I get the pleasure of talking about the Baltimore Ravens going on the road to face the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 4. What is a matchup that could be in the playoffs?
Yeah. And your time starts now.
If you would have told anybody that these two teams
There is absolutely no way we're going to allow this game to be only talk 60 seconds.
Okay.
Not only that I'm a Chiefs fan.
What do you disagree with here? You could have at least let me start.
No, you can keep going. There's no, the challenge is 60 seconds is not enough for this team.
I think you challenged. I think it's your turn. Take it away.
I don't really want to steal it from you.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that you knew that 60 seconds was not enough.
Well, let me start by saying this, and then you can disagree with me as much as you want.
Sure.
I think the Ravens have had the tougher road to go this early. Maybe you could say it hasn't been fair to the Chiefs having to go down to Brazil. I don't think many of their players speak Portuguese. That's pretty tough. But the Ravens playing the Lions and the Bills early season, and then you get the Chiefs through in week 4. What a murderer's row right here. I know they blew up the Browns, and they did, to their credit. The Browns beat the Packers, so, maybe that game isn't as easy as we think it is. But, Bills, which I think was on the road, and then they played the Lions at home, and now you got to go on the road to face the Chiefs? Who's making this schedule? I love it as a fan, but as a Baltimore Ravens fan, I got to be thinking, what do I got to do to get a break?
It's tough, but it's not like the Chiefs just had this easy road going forward.
Cakewalk. Should have nuked the Chargers.
The Chargers, then the Eagles, and then they got their easy game in the Giants, like you guys got they got their easy game in the Browns.
The Browns that just beat the Super Bowl favorite Packers?
Just now this week, not the week before.
Okay, all right. You're right, sure.
No, this is going to be
They
a
also
great...
dropped 40 on that team, by the way. Best defense in the league, and they dropped 40 points on them.
I know, and they did it by throwing the ball, which is also not their strength, even though Lamar Jackson is a very good thrower, which we both thought he would struggle that in the NFL. This is a great game. Like you said, this is a playoff, probably a matchup. This is more than likely they're going to face each other in the playoffs, especially if the Chiefs can turn themselves around. I don't think anyone has any questions about the Ravens. It's not the fact they didn't turn themselves around. It's the fact, like you just said, they're playing really good teams. This is going to be a great game, and I just don't think 60 seconds is going to do enough. I know everyone's like, well, you're a Chiefs fan. Of course you feel that way. You should have thrown the flag when we were talking about the Colts and the Rams, and I still really like that matchup.
I thought about it. I really did.
I still really like it. But the AFC powerhouses, outside Buffalo, these are your two best teams in the AFC.
Should be. Yeah, absolutely. I also think when you're talking about this matchup, it's one that home field advantage could be key for the playoffs, where if you win this one and you get to see this team in the playoffs again in your building, that could be the difference.
It is a big difference.
This could be a 3-point game. Now, the Chiefs need to get back on track. I know they wound up blowing the Giants out 22-9 or whatever it was.
Not pretty game, though.
But even then, going into halftime, it was
9-6.
Close. Exactly. So this is one of those ones where they feel susceptible. They need to get up for this game, and they need to make it happen. At least it's in their building. As for the Ravens, I think they got to turn the page in the running game, where Derrick Henry's had 2 key fumbles that has kind of cost them wins against the Bills and against the Lions. And you look at the Cleveland game, they couldn't run the ball at all. I think Henry only had 10 touches, so they need to get their running game fixed. They need to get right with that. Kansas City hasn't been easy to face running the football. I want to see them establish it and say, even though you're not bad at this, here's our identity. We're going to run it down your throat, whether it's with Lamar doing it, whether it's with Henry. I want to see the Ravens get back into what we expect them to be as a running team.
Yeah, and I want to see Kansas City's offense flourish a lot better. 9 points and a half against the Giants' defense. Not going to cut it against the Ravens' defense.
The Ravens are 32nd in defense, though. Is this the week they get right for Kansas City? We know they need their receivers back.
If Worthy plays, even though he's not going to be 100% healthy, I think you're going to see a change in this offense. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but you might be looking at maybe an extra touchdown because it leaves someone else open because you have to pay attention to Worthy. I don't know if it's big enough. This is in
Kansas City.
Kansas City. I thought so. I think that's a difference.
How do you feel about Baltimore being a 2.5-point favorite in Kansas City?
It's okay.
Because usually they give it a 2.5-point to 3-point swing. Do you agree with it?
Yeah, I agree with it. I still think Kansas City can win this game. I think it's going to be, I don't want to say ugly because I don't think that's the right word, but I think you're going to see both teams struggle offensively, and you're going to watch these defenses make a difference. I understand 32nd worst defense. It doesn't matter. That defense is still really good.
It's early, and you have to look at the matchups, right?
And they're banged up on defense, too.
Right.
So maybe they can get healthy. Maybe they'll be back next week. But I'm still going to take Kansas City winning this game. I think in Arrowhead, it makes a difference.
I think I'm going to go out on the limb, and maybe I just want to disagree with you, but
That's
I think Baltimore wins a close one. I think this is going to be the best game of the week. I think it's going to be one that, it's a nail-biter all the way through. I think Kansas City is going to, I think whoever has the ball last is probably going to win it, but if the Ravens get it, I think they're going to run a little bit better than they have. I think Henry will get back on track, and I just don't think Kansas City has the firepower with Rice being out. I know Worthy's hurt and might play. I think that might be the difference. Last thing, and then we got to move on.
Yeah.
How high is the panic meter for the team that falls to 1-3 out of this matchup? Because both of them go in here 1-2.
Oh, it's massive.
If they're 1-3, is this one of those situations where it's like this might not be our year, or do you think they can recover?
It doesn't end their season, but it's that those other games where, like, for example, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe, yeah, the Chiefs lost to the Colts when they won the Super Bowl. I think it was 2 years ago, and the Colts should never won that game, but Kansas City dropped the ball and they lost. And that game can't happen no more. If they go 1-3, whichever team this is, when you look at the team where you're like, I should beat this team, you should beat them.
Your margin for error is gone.
Cannot
if you're at 1-3.
Mess up. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on. I like the Ravens here by like a hair. How big do you said you picked the Chiefs? How big do you think this winds up being? Can they get more than one score, or is this going to be another one of those, like, whatever their run was, which is now over, but the Chiefs had that, whatever it was, 19 straight score win.
I actually think this might be a little bit higher scoring. It might be like a 30-27 game.
But you think it's within 7?
But yeah, it's within 7 for sure.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. It's your turn again, because even though you basically hijacked my turn, that's okay. We had to talk about that one in depth, didn't we?
We did.
Even if we weren't, even if you weren't a Chiefs fan, I think we have to talk about that matchup. Yeah. But you get one just as important if you ask their fan bases.
It is.
When the Bears go on the road to try to fix their season against the Raiders. Another 1-2 matchup from 1-2 teams, Drew. Your time starts right now.
Yeah, 1-2 for both of these teams. You saw the Bears come to life last week, and that's really exciting for Chicago Bear fans. That needs to keep going. This needs to keep on rolling. You're going into Vegas to face the Raiders. You have to keep that offense rolling, because when you look at week 1 and 2, you saw your offense do really good in the first and second quarters, and then the adjustments just weren't there for Ben Johnson. Maybe this week in week 3 has fixed that problem, and now going into week 4, you don't have any worries. You know you can make your offense perform all 4 quarters. As far as the Raiders go, Geno Smith needs to play better. I know statistically everyone's like, he did well. He had 3 touchdowns last week with 0 interceptions. The team's playing well. You want to see more out of that, but it's not good enough. And one of the best ways to do it is to focus on your playmakers. We know Brock Bowers is hurt. He needs to get healthy. Maybe keep him out there, but not utilize him as much, and focus on Ashton Jeanty. And I'm not just talking about out of the backfield running the ball. I'm talking about using him in the passing game. He had no catches last week, and that is not okay for a player that you take on the 5th pick of the draft. And I went overtime. That's okay.
We're gonna have to penalize you like 15 yards if you keep doing this. Okay, like that's unsportsmanlike. You'll get that fine pack in the mail. Yeah, I agree, and okay. I'm not allowed to say anything, even though I think I'm the last guy with the challenge flag. Right? I only got the one left.
You do. I'd use both of mine.
That's okay. I think I'm gonna need it for this one, because the Packers are gonna go on the road to face the Cowboys. I'm not. Let's not even start the clock, Drew. I'm throwing the challenge flag right away.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about Micah Parsons and his revenge game, and I want you to weigh in on this too.
Yeah.
So, Packers go on. We're not even going to start the clock. Packers go on the road to face the Cowboys, who have been kind of susceptible here. I know the Cowboys, they could argue like, man, we almost beat the Eagles, but then it's like we almost lost to the Giants too. So, who are they? Drew, are they the team that played Chicago? Are they the team that played Philadelphia? Are they the team that played against the New York Giants? Like, who? They are like persona non grata. We don't know anything about the Cowboys 3 weeks in, because they've played at 3 different levels on 3 different weeks.
Oh, man. What does week 3 say about these two teams? It says that the Packers are acceptable for teams to for them to look over teams because they got too hyped. Let's settle it down, Packers fans. Yes, you're a great team, but you're not going to go. You're obviously now not going to go 17-0. You got to realize that
16-1's on the table, though.
Yeah, 16-1's on the table, but you got to start focusing on some of these teams. And one of these teams that could surprise you is the Dallas Cowboys. Not because I think they're a good team. It's the fact that they could put up a lot of points. Now the issue is CeeDee Lamb is hurt. We don't know if he's going to come back. He's got an ankle issue. I believe it's an ankle. That's a problem. George Pickens and Ferguson, their tight end, does not make up for CeeDee Lamb being gone. I think that's a plus side for the Packers. And like you said, Micah Parsons coming back for revenge. He is that sort of playmaker on defense that can change a game. And if he really wants to, this could be a Parsons game. And good luck.
He's the best player on the field.
Good luck, Dak Prescott.
Out of everybody here, he's the best player on the field.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Aubrey. And his 97-yard field goals, right?
I was hold on, who?
Maybe he's gonna. You're like, wait,
who?
Let me double check that. Aubrey. Oh yeah, that's right, the kicker. Yeah, I mean, this is a tale of two teams. When you talk about the Cowboys, they're 4th in offense right now, but they're 30th in defense, giving up 4 more yards than they achieve each week. I mean, you look at the numbers, Drew, 393 yards worth of total offense, 397 yards allowed on defense. It's really like the immovable or the unstoppable force meets the immovable object this week, because when you look at the Packers, it's like the exact opposite story. They're 21st in offense, but they're 3rd in defense. Which element of these games, the great Packers defense versus the great, quote-unquote, great Cowboys offense, which one flinches first here?
Well, if CeeDee Lamb was healthy, I would probably tell you that not that I don't think the Packers defense is really good, because I do. Mm-hmm. I just think that they could put up points. It's going to be those, okay, well, they got to get this first down to kick a field goal to win the game, and Micah Parsons sacks, Dak Prescott. But right. With CeeDee Lamb gone, I don't think that matters. I think that becomes the defense.
Are we not talking about the Packers enough? Because Jarran Reed is on IR. He's not going to be playing here.
Jarran Reed is not CeeDee Lamb.
No, but he is the best option for Green Bay, and I think you could argue that, they probably have more depth options, but is Pickens better than anyone else they have in Green Bay? Probably. So the Cowboys still have the best receiver. Like, you look at the 2 tight ends they have.
Now you kind of blew my mind right there, where it's like,
you weren't thinking about it, but you're like, actually, that's right. Like, technically right, but I don't really love it.
I don't like it.
Yeah. It's one of these games that I want to see it out of Jordan Love. I have a lot of Packers fans that tell me all the time how great of a quarterback he is. But to me, the reason they lost that Browns game is because Love wasn't good enough. Like, the best quarterbacks, even when things are tough, find ways to win the game. And they just let the Browns hang around long enough in that 10-3 kind of mode where the Browns got a couple bounces going their way, and then they lost it late.
Let me explain this penalty.
Sure.
I know that you don't like Jordan Love. I don't like Jordan Love.
Okay. But
there's a reason that he's a starter.
Sure.
There's a reason that team went to the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Can you give Jordan Love any love of why he is that case? Because this isn't Joe Flacco.
Okay.
I agree with that. This isn't Bryce Young.
And even though we say we don't like him, I think we had him 13th or something in our quarterback ratings.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like we put him in the 20s. We weren't like, oh,
We're
can't
realistic.
play.
We're realistic, right?
I say something nice about Jordan Love. He has a great coach that believes in him, in Matt LaFleur. I think outside of it, Matt LaFleur is quietly probably 4th in terms of offensive minds, where you have Andy Reid, you have Kyle Shanahan, you have McVay, who I think are all in front of him. But I think LaFleur might be the 4th best offensive coach in football.
And then probably top 10 and best overall coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. The Packers' defense always comes to play. And it's a situation where if that guy tells you, this is my guy, sometimes you just got to believe him. It's kind of like Shanahan and all these bums that he brings in all the time at quarterback. Do it again. Flag me again.
No, I could be wrong. I think that's the second time we've thrown a penalty flag with Jordan Love talk.
We need to be nicer to a guy who wins a lot of games, right?
We do. And I actually like the Packers. It's just I don't like the idea of, okay, we got Micah Parsons, now we're a Super Bowl contender. You guys were always good. You're always in the playoffs. This isn't like, I hate to pick on the Browns. This isn't like Micah Parsons going to the Browns like, oh, now they're winning a Super Bowl. It's like, no, you guys always had the opportunity. You just never did it.
See, I actually kind of disagree with you, where I actually do feel like they're warranted in saying that, because they were a playoff team. They got arguably what might be the best defensive player in football.
They had good players like Jair Alexander. They had the best corner for a while.
Quietly, and Kenny Clark, who's not here anymore. Are we not talking about the Kenny Clark revenge game enough?
I mean,
like, we talk about Parsons getting to play his former team.
I'm just saying,
how do you feel if you're Kenny Clark and they're like, ship him out of here. We don't need him anymore.
That's another. I mean, I'm just trying. That's a point. I'm just trying to say this isn't a team that didn't make the playoffs. This is a team that has been making the playoffs.
Right. And I think to build on that point, but yeah, then you brought in what might be the best defensive player in football, right?
Yeah.
Second, maybe behind Myles Garrett.
I'm glad it was hyped for him, but I think the hype was too soon. I don't like week 1.
Like you said with the Chiefs, they tripped up in Indianapolis and then won the Super Bowl that year. Could Cleveland just be a trip-up game where it's like, here we are, we've been humbled, we can't get ahead of ourselves?
It's still too early, but I like the hiccup early than late.
Sure. I agree with you. You want to keep your momentum going as you go into the playoffs. All right, this matchup, we got to close it out, and then we got to talk about these other games. 6.5 for Green Bay. Is that too much?
Without CeeDee Lamb, no.
Right. I agree. I think CeeDee Lamb is the X factor, where I'd feel a lot better about Dallas if it was Lamb and Pickens, and they could say they have the 2 best receivers on the field instead of the 1. Because I think we both agree, even if we like Pickens better than anybody else out there playing right now, and I would take Reed over Pickens if Reed was healthy. But even though we like him the best, that gap is pretty close compared to what CeeDee Lamb would be if anyone was playing.
Right. We got to get moving, man. We got a couple more games to go.
We do. And our next one is a real barn burner, Drew. with the Jets going on the road to face the Dolphins. Both of these teams 0-3.
Quit saying that because
Trying
that's
to set you up.
part of my 60 seconds.
All right, well,
I won't bring it up now.
Okay, well, everybody knows both these teams 0-3.
Yeah.
What else do you have to say about them? Your time starts right now.
Like I was saying earlier in this episode, Justin Fields has a concussion last week. That's the reason why he didn't play. So he should pass all these protocols. He should be able to play. I think that's going to be a difference for the Jets. Now, if not, Tyrod Taylor seems to be, again, a quarterback that can come in and play decent football in the NFL and will give you a good opportunity to win some of these games, especially against a team like the Dolphins, who are struggling immensely, but they have great playmakers, and they have a number one receiver in Tyreek Hill. They have a number two in Waddle. They have a great running back in Archan, or Archan, however you want to say his name. This is a team that should be doing a lot better. Is it Mike Daniels trying to save his career as a head coach of the Miami Dolphins? This has to be that game. You have to beat the Jets. You can't go in there and throw a flub. I know everyone's like, Tua. Everyone wants to talk about Tua. The one thing I saw about Tua that I 100% respect is when everyone was like, how are you taking all these insults? He goes, it's as being an NFL head coach. I'm going to fumble my words, and my time just got up. But just to end it real quickly, just to clear my thought, he goes, to be an NFL quarterback, you must take the lows and the highs, and right now it's a low, but I still believe in myself. Not exact words, but something like that. That is what you want to hear out of your quarterback.
I didn't realize this was a 90-second.
Sorry.
No, it's all
I
I think the editor might save you here. I mean, that's okay.
I flubbed my words. I had to fix it.
Of course. And I think that was a good quote to end on because it is the mentality you want to see a guy have when things are going bad, right? I think the great fear is the guy that starts to give up on himself, kind of like Anthony Richardson. I'm not talking about this game. I'm talking about another game, so it doesn't count. But Anthony Richardson, when he's checking himself out of the game and like, I can't really do this, that's the guy you don't want. You want the guy that's saying, things are bad, let's stay center, let's try to be the best of ourselves that we can be.
Right.
I get the last game on Monday night.
You do,
How about
man.
that? And this one, maybe not quite as competitive as some of the others, but I don't hate Bengals going against the Broncos. I'm not jumping the gun.
Okay.
I'm trying to do a little setup work here, Drew. I'm trying to
set it up.
This is like deflating a football. I'm trying to get an advantage here if I can.
Never mind. I wasn't going to say that.
Usually that's my job.
All right, man. Your time starts.
Bengals, Broncos.
Now.
I think both of these teams are in weird spots considering the Bengals are 2-1 and the Broncos are 1-2. The Bengals, again, embarrassing loss. I'm going to say it 3 times. Embarrassing loss against the Vikings last week. I even stuck up for Browning and said, man, I don't think he's that bad of a player. But the Broncos need to do it again because their defense has underachieved as well. They're only 19th in terms of total yardage. This was supposed to be a top 2, top 3 unit going into this week. Go embarrass the Bengals again. It's not going to be easy with these receivers that they have, but if you can do what the Vikings did, they should have a good chance. I also want to see them score more points. They're only 19th in offense as well. This is supposed to be a playoff team. We have high expectations for them. We have high expectations for Bo Nix. They need to prove it against teams like the Bengals, whose defense has fallen off and is sitting in the 25th spot. Broncos are going to win this one. I want to see it by more than 8. I want to see the Broncos blow somebody out for once so that I can believe in them going forward.
5 seconds left.
I think the Bengals are in trouble for the next 12 weeks while Burrow's out.
And time.
Okay.
Well, guys, that's going to do us for our review of Week 4 in 60 seconds or less more, depending on if you can't talk.
That's right. Can we breathe? I ran over a little bit. You ran over a little bit. Who's keeping track?
Who they are?
Come on.
The rules.
Okay.
The editor. He's told us that we had
somebody has to keep us in check.
Yeah, somebody. Guys, remember to like, share, subscribe, please. All that stuff that helps us grow. And hey, if we were wrong, tell us we were wrong. Let us know in the comments. We'll hit you up and let you know if you're wrong.
Try to tell us as quick as you can. We had to do it fast. I want to see you do it too. No paragraphs, because even though we can read them, we want you to feel that same pressure.
You can read?
The editor can.
Oh, okay.
We want you to feel the same pressure we were under. Tell us what we got right. Tell us what we got wrong, because we always want to hear from you. 4 Sports Around the Bar. Drew, you want to close out with anything else?
Nope.
You ready to get out of here, man?
I'm ready to get
Watch these games?
Let's do it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Hit the subscribe, hit like, hit everything, and we'll see you then.
See ya.